Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're going to revisit my recent Bristol Myers trade idea that I did last week. I want to talk about where it's trading now. If you remember, I talked about how Bristol Myers, unlike the other pharmaceuticals, where they are literally parabolically moving higher, most of them are trading sideways now. Bristol Myers did the same thing. It actually rocketed into the 80s and hit a near-term all-time high, and then peeled back. It almost peeled back a full 10 points. And look where it's trading today. I believe the fluff is out of this thing, and I had actually said that if you were going to be getting involved in Bristol Myers, now is where you want to get involved. You don't want to get involved up here. You want to get involved down here. Okay? Notice what has happened since it hit that bottom. It has bounced off of it, moving higher. Now, the markets are not necessarily going higher, right? So Wall Street sees value here. But look at this support line. My gosh, it seems to bounce off of that line right there. I'll tell you what, I don't know if it rallies like this or it trades like this. But what I do know is this. It's showing over the past 2 days, as the markets have sold off, this thing has great support right here. So I was looking into a poor man's covered call trade. I was looking at the 40 strike, right? Buying the 40 leaps call option, paying something like $33. The time value portion of that was less than 1%. I think the time value portion of that may have represented 70 cents. So the near term, right, the near-term covered call, I could have generated using the 75 strike. I could have generated something like 10% if the stock moves to 75. I have my shares taken away. That trade, very inexpensive, right? You buy the 40 leaps, you pay 33x, so you pay $3,300. So you're literally paying half of what you would pay for 100 shares. Then you write the near-term covered call. Okay, so now if this thing moves higher to 75, right? If it moves higher to 75, which, by the way, look at that, right? That could be resistance, right? We break through that resistance right there. We're going higher. You have your shares taken away. You make max profit. You know, you make the covered call premium. You make the leaps move, right? Because we're going to buy that 97 leaps, right? That 97 Delta leap, which means the leaps call option will move 97% of a $1 move in the stock. This thing will move an additional $2. So that means your leaps will move maybe $1.80. Only on $3,300 invested. You could see how your cash on cash percentage gains are higher using a poor man's covered call. But if you didn't want to do that and you just wanted to buy 100 shares, I'll tell you, what we talked about in that last video is really proving out as of right now. Right? Bristol Myers has bottomed out and looks like it's hanging on that support line. Now, the markets are selling off. I'll tell you what, they're taking the fluff out of the market right now. If this thing over the next day or into next week starts to rally and move higher, you know, Bristol Myers is going to follow the market into earnings. Earnings 2 weeks away. Okay, so that's very important. The X date has happened, so there's no dividend event going to happen. But that earnings, right? That earnings is going to come out. And I don't know if Bristol Myers right now is in any real danger of reporting anything horrible. I mean, all the pharmaceuticals have gone higher. So unless they really, really drop the ball, I'll tell you what, it could be kind of the Goldilocks effect with earnings. And this thing can continue to move sideways to higher, playing for that 75 strike right now. And I'll tell you what, that's one I'm looking at. I wanted to revisit this trade only because I am thinking, even though it's rallied, there's still meat on the bone here, I believe. Because I believe this thing gets to at least 75. And boy, I'll tell you what, right now, that could be a nice little 30-day covered call. Okay, I'm watching this. I'm going to send out an email later because I do think I'm going to do the poor man's covered call. Hey, until next time.